rotation, but we didn't see this with the last storm, and there was a confirmed tornado that blew over a barn and even caused a fire in Banks County, and we didn't see a rotation signature with that one either. This is lifting to the north about 45 miles per hour. Let's track this for you. Again, this is going to head into Rabun County. This is the Lake Burton area, the Lake Rabun area, okay, where many of you have homes, many of you vacation, really beautiful part of our state. Lakemont area, okay? This is headed towards you. Tallulah Falls, it will be in your area in about 25 minutes. Lakemont area at 12:32. And eventually, Clayton, if it holds together, it'll be in your area. Do not expect it to hold together for an hour. Guys, we've seen these systems since 4 a.m., they've been very brief tornadoes. They touch down for 10 or 15 minutes and then they lift back. And that's what we see with these tropical systems. Tropical systems is a lot of turning. We get those in the atmosphere, okay? And that's what we're seeing right now. Let's zoom in and show you what we see. This is a correlation coefficient. So this is one of the radar products that we use most frequently to tell us where there are debris balls, okay? Or large objects flying around in the air. When you see all the red, just you don't need to even take that into consideration. It's these brighter colors of blue, green, and yellow that indicate a debris ball. And it looks like we could be seeing a mini debris ball right here just to the north of Toccoa. And this is, again, the very eastern tip of South Carolina. So this is really far east and northeast Georgia. Ronnie, that's what I'm seeing right now, is this is where they may be seeing the tornado moving north in this storm.
Yeah, and you mentioned this a while ago, Ella. Of all the tornado warnings that we have seen so far this morning, this is probably one of the weaker signatures that we've seen. But as you said, even with some of the weaker signatures, we've still had quite a bit of damage this morning. So we've got to get these tornado warnings out to let you know, even though it's harder to find this particular signature compared to some of the other ones that we were seeing earlier today, which is why you have that warning in effect for Habersham and Rabun County. Looks like, Ella, this is quickly going to move into Rabun County, which is like the northeasternmost part of Georgia.
Yeah, it's in the mountains. And usually when these systems move into the mountains, the higher elevations and just the kind of the geography shreds apart the rotation. So we'll see if that actually happens as this heads into those higher elevations. But again, this tornado warning is until 12:30. This is for the next 35 minutes for all of Rabun County. This is where many of us go to vacation. Beautiful mountain homes, a lot of wineries in this area. So many of you are familiar with this area, although it's not highly populated. It is a gorgeous part of our state, and this is where we're seeing a potential tornado. Tallulah Falls at 11:56. 12:11, it will be in the Clayton area. So it actually will be in the Clayton area much sooner than we just said. Ronnie, is it moving north at 40?
Yeah, so what I did, I adjusted the speed. The speed was a little bit slower earlier. We've adjusted it northwest at about 35 miles per hour.
Okay, yeah, so that puts it in the Clayton area around 12:11. That is in about 15 minutes. So if you live in the Clayton area, you definitely need to head to your safe spot. In fact, if you live on Lake Burton or Lake Rabun, you need to be in your safe spot as well, as this is headed towards you. Not a defined signature. Not seeing really a couplet. There isn't an area that I can point to. It might be this very weak couplet right here. The thing is, we're pretty far away from both of the radars. Right now, we're actually using South Carolina's radar. Radar sends a beam up, and it goes up into the storm system. So the further the radar is away from the storm, the harder it is to actually find the debris signature because it's further up in the storm. So this is pretty far away, and the radar, Rodney has just circled it, is over here in Greenville. It's, maybe 100 miles away from this potential storm. That's why we're having trouble actually locating the rotation within it, because by the time it reaches, let's see how many miles away. Oh, I don't have that factor on. By the time it reaches all the way over here, it's really far up in the atmosphere, so it has a hard time seeing anything that could be at the surface. But I'm seeing this little notch right here just to the north of Toccoa that's moving north. It's actually going to move briefly into South Carolina and then back into Rabun County here. Yep, that's exactly where it is. It's now moving out of Georgia. It's going to clip South Carolina and then move back into Rabun County. This is the mountains. Systems like this, tornado systems, they have a really hard time holding together in the mountains, because think about it. A tornado goes up and down and up and down, and that usually shears it apart in the higher elevation. So we'll see if that happens. But like I said, regardless, we've seen damage reports. We've seen about 5 or 6 confirmed tornadoes to date in Georgia. Every single one has had damage reports. Every single one has caused damage. So do not take this lightly if you live in the Rabun County area. Damage is likely with this. And actually, we're seeing a little bit. Go back there, Rodney.
I'm switching over, Ella. The first signature was from Atlanta's radar, which was going to be a little bit distorted. So I've now switched to the correlation coefficient from South Carolina, which doesn't show, as high a signature. It doesn't look like.
Okay, can you go back to the other one though? Because I was seeing a tiny little debris ball possibly in South Carolina. This is our correlation coefficient. This is how we tell if there's a debris ball. Not really seeing much of anything, Rod.
Yeah, so this is the one from South Carolina. Now, this is going to show this next one higher values or lower values, but that's just because we're really far. That's Atlanta's radar. So that's almost, you just don't disregard that because that's so far away. This is the radar that's closer in South Carolina, and it gives you a more accurate picture, which isn't showing as much of a debris ball. So like we were saying before, the signature here isn't as strong as the previous tornado warnings, but because there's been such a big history of damage, even with the weaker signatures, we've had to go with these tornado warnings just in case,
Right. And again, that's exactly what we're seeing right now. And what we've seen all morning, I want to go out. Rodney, can you zoom out and show us the storm reports?
Yeah.
I want to show everyone the storm reports today because, again, since 4 a.m., we've seen a tornado almost every hour as the system moved through Metro Atlanta. It's currently actually right over Metro Atlanta. But look at this. Yeah, 2 reports of tornadoes down, actually 4 reports of tornadoes down towards the Milledgeville, Macon area. 1 confirmed tornado in Greene County caused some damage to some homes. We saw a confirmed tornado in the LaGrange area of Meriwether County, and then another tornado in Banks County wrecked a barn. So this is really cool. This is one of the many products that we have here at CBS 46 is the storm reports. You can see as this Fred made landfall, a lot of hurricane, tropical storm reports, flood reports, heavy rain reports. But as the storm moves inland, it actually really starts to rotate, and that's where we can see the tornadoes. And you can see the majority of the tornadoes have actually been right here across North Georgia through the last couple of hours. The rain is now moving out of Metro Atlanta. Conditions will improve for Metro Atlanta, and Metro Atlanta, you are not going to see any more tornadoes today. It's really just the northeastern quadrant of our state into the mountains that sees a threat for tornadoes just over the next hour or so. We are now in the noon show. CBS 46 News at noon has started. We are in storm mode because of a tornado warning that is in northeast Georgia. This is far removed from Metro Atlanta. This is up in the mountains in Rabun County, and this is a tornado warning that will go until 12:30. So for the next 30 minutes. Rodney, here's the good news. It looks like they have now just canceled that tornado warning. So again, there was rotation just for a little bit, and they have now canceled that tornado warning. There is still a flash flood warning for this area. Guys, if you live in the mountains, you are likely to see widespread flash flooding with this heavy rain continuing on and off through the afternoon. But as we head over the next hour or so, the tornado threat is going to diminish. Again, we have crews all over Metro Atlanta. We have crews bringing you the latest on the storm reports, and we have many live reports to get to. But again, we're going to have much more throughout the afternoon. All hands on deck to keep you safe. And it looks like we're going to continue here. I do want to set up my show. Let's get over here. So here's the look at the radar loop over the last 3 hours. I'm going to bring it back, start it out again, show you what's going on. Tropical depression Fred. The center of the storm is now really over Metro Atlanta. You can see the rain is highly displaced from the center of this storm. Taking you hour by hour, take a look. By 6 p.m., the storm has moved out of Metro Atlanta. Still heavy rain falling in the mountains, but you can see the majority of the rain is in the Carolinas. It will then continue off to the north, and by this overnight tonight, it's far out of our area. So once again, flash flood warning for Habersham County. But overall, this is going to become more of a flood threat through the afternoon. You can see the rain south of the city completely done. There is a flash flood warning in effect until 2:45 for Cobb, DeKalb, Fulton, and Gwinnett counties. We're seeing many roads closed. Rodney's going to have a report on that coming up here shortly, but many of the major highways have seen crazy flooding. Let's show you what it looks like outside right now. Here's a live look over Midtown where it is raining very heavily. You can see traffic is at a standstill on 75 southbound, reduced visibility right now. As far as rainfall totals, yeah, most areas across Metro have seen a ton of rain, 2 to 3 inches of rain just since midnight tonight. Again, conditions are going to start to get better, taking you hour by hour. The rain will lessen, and actually we're going to see some sunshine this afternoon. But just over the course of the next couple hours, if you can stay off the roads, it's a good idea to. And Ronnie's here with the latest on those closed roads.
Yeah, Ella, we have a breaking traffic alert. This is right in the heart of Atlanta. This is the connector I-75-85 southbound around Williams Street. So we had a jackknife tractor trailer in a car that was under that tractor trailer, and that is what is blocking all these lanes. What I can tell you, and some good news, they've gotten that tractor trailer off the road, but all lanes are still blocked. They are diverting traffic, so do not try to take the connector southbound into downtown Atlanta. Instead, you'll want to take 285, but avoid downtown Atlanta. We're going to keep you up to date on this breaking traffic alert. In the meantime, CBS 46 at noon starts right now.
All right, Rodney, thank you so much. We are going to take you right out live to CBS 46's Adam Murphy, who is talking to somebody as we go to this shot. He's live in Madison County, where you can see him walking amongst this rubble. Adam, tell us, what have you found there in Madison?
Well, we are on Highway 92, about 10 miles east of Commerce in Madison County. And you'll see out here, I'm hanging out with one of the homeowners here who's cleaning up all of the debris. There's a roof, there's shingles, there's wood. He also has a storage building over here where you can see the damage to the roof and the limbs that are down. And if we show you over to the right, you'll notice he has a storage shed over there. And look, the metal from the storage shed ripped off in this particular storm that came through this morning. Everyone here telling us they heard that freight train sound, and quite the cleanup on hand here for the folks living in this community. Good news is there are about 3 or 4 homeowners that live in very close proximity to one another out here. I've checked with all of them. They are all okay. They're obviously dealing with the debris and cleanup and all of that comes with something like this. And everyone's saying it sounded like a tornado. Obviously, we don't have official word on that at this point in time. The storm also, I want to walk you over here a little bit. I'm going to take you towards the roadway, past our tripod that we have sitting up right here. And if we can get across the other side, this particular storm came from this direction and went all the way over here. Now, there's a lot of traffic, so I'm going to hold off. But these homes over here, there are some stop signs. There are also some speed limit signs that have just been ripped and are torn down to the side. You can kind of see some of the damage over in that area as well. If we can get across, we'll show you. Let me come left here. Look, more of this panel that has come off the storage shed, this metal paneling, which was flying through the air. So that was really quite dangerous for the people living in this community. And it looks like I may be able to kind of take you across the street here. I want to show you real quick what we're seeing on the other side. All right, we're cleared across here real quick. Okay, so this home right here, they have the blue tarp they've already got up, but they had some damage to their roof as well with some of the debris, and their roof actually ripped off in that area is what we've been told. And there were fire crews that just left this scene a short while ago. There's been electrical crews out here too, restoring power because they were without power for some time as well. And just on the other side of our news truck here, you're going to see something very interesting. You're going to actually see where the storm came through, and it looks as though it's sort of, at least the weeds and grass and so forth are in a circular motion. Look down in this little gully right here. Okay, you see the stop sign. You've got more of that tin from that shed that blew all the way over here. And you can see with the landscape down there how everything's kind of blown around in sort of a circular motion. One would believe that this may have been a touchdown tornado and causing quite the damage throughout this whole area. So we're working this story. We're going to talk to some of the people living in this community as well. And we'll be following up this afternoon on this particular story. And maybe we'll have some more information as well to let you know exactly what came through this particular area. Oh, before I go though, let me show you the speed limit sign over here, right in front of this home. Look at this thing. Completely torn off, or at least bent over from the storm that came through. And I mean, that's high winds. There's also some debris on it. Look at that. Wow, so that shows you the power of this storm that came through this area. The clouds behind this home too don't look so great at this point in time. We've seen some wind blow through here recently as well. So I don't think this is over with, and everybody kind of trying to preserve what they have with tarps and so forth, but at the same time, play it safe while they're out here. We're live in Madison County. We'll have much more throughout the afternoon. Adam Murphy, CBS 46 News.
That is a beautiful area. And Adam, you and Steve Franklin, be careful out there. Great job showing us just some of that damage those folks are having to deal with right now. Thank you again. Now, our team coverage continuing right now back here in the city of Atlanta. That's where Rebecca Schramm is live in northwest or northeast Atlanta. That's where Fred certainly leaving a mark as well. Rebecca, what have you found there?
Well, Karen, I'm in the Candler Park neighborhood here in northeast Atlanta, and we're on Iverson Street. Well, I want to show you because you see the power lines here that are dangling. Well, here's why. Take a look. That's a big tree that fell from across the street right on top of the power lines, and as the tree fell, it also damaged that house. I spoke with a man who heard it all happen. He happens to be dog sitting for some family members.
We were just waking up at 6:30 in the morning. And we heard a large crash and a thud.
Chris Gaffney tells me at that moment the power went out.
Then we went outside. I heard there was a lot of hissing, that we smelled gas.
He realized that the next door neighbor's large old oak tree had just uprooted as the remnants of Tropical Storm Fred came through Atlanta.
It's been raining so much, it seems like the ground was just, swollen with water. But there was no lightning. We thought it was a lightning strike until we were just talking to our neighbors a couple of minutes ago.
As for the neighbor across Iverson Street, whose home took some damage as the tree fell,
he woke up, he smelled the gas. I think he took off and got a cup of coffee.
everyone here thankful no one was hurt, but sad to lose such a beautiful shade tree.
It's odd because this tree looked like it was in, really great shape, but obviously not, because look at the roots.
Yeah, and just look at the size of the trunk of that tree. You can see a tree service crew is here. They've been chopping up this massive tree to try to clear Iverson Street. It's been blocked since before daylight. Firefighters arrived pretty early on and turned off the gas. I checked with Georgia Power just a few minutes ago, and it looks like it'll be at least 3 p.m. before they can restore electricity to the folks on this street. We'll keep you posted on that. We're live in Northeast Atlanta. Rebecca Schramm, CBS 46 News.
Yeah, electricity a problem for folks across Georgia. Rebecca, thank you so much for that. Now, we're going to head south to CBS 46's Trayson Bragg. He's live in Meriwether County. And Trayson, a tornado, we feel touched down in that area as well. What damage are you seeing there?
Well, Karen, take a look to my left. You can see actually the path of that tornado. You can see branches and trees leaned over to the side, marking the path of the tornado as it passed Charlie Fuller Road and actually knocked down another tree that you now see on the ground. It knocked that tree onto power lines, and let's just say it wasn't the only tree knocked down in the county.
I heard a big boom. I'm talking about shook. Woke me up.
Tropical Depression Fred brought dangerous and wet conditions to Meriwether County early this morning. The severe weather cracking this large tree in half and sending it crashing down on Anise Slayton's home.
Yeah, I was nervous that a tree fell in the house. I was scared to move.
Slayton tells me she's lived in this home on J Street since her mother bought it nearly 67 years ago. The living room, which is normally filled with fond memories of the Slayton family, is now home to pots and pans catching rainwater seeping through the damaged roof.
I just wanted to get it off the house right now.
The tragic surprises continued for Slayton as she learned she isn't covered for this type of damage.
I just called my insurance folks, and they said that I wasn't covered for this.
As the tree came crashing down on her house, 30 miles north, a tornado touched down in the county, knocking down trees on Coleman Creek Circle and Charlie Fuller Road. The folks I spoke to here say they are just grateful no one was hurt.
Yeah. Blessed. Be blessed that it wasn't worse.
Now, county officials tell me crews were able to remove those trees from the roadway before they caused any major traffic issues. Reporting now live in Meriwether County, I'm Trayson Bragg, CBS 46 News.
That's a shame to hear she's not covered for that damage. Trayson, thank you so much. Now remember, download our powerful CBS 46 app so you can stay ahead of the storms with alerts right down to your zip code. We've got about 5,000 people across Metro Atlanta right now with no power, so we are keeping an eye on just the situations all over Georgia. You can get our streaming app in the Apple App Store and on Google Play. We'll be right back.